You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 15, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the August 15th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. If you'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Fern, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could I get a roll call, please?
Melissa Mullins-Mischke.
Here.
Vern Schaefer.
Here.
Glenn Minnick.
Here.
Deb Vance.
Here.
April Daly.
Here. All right, full house. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the July 18th meeting. It was exhausting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And I'll second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. Let's get into the petitions this evening. So for everyone in the audience, public comment is under remonstrance. If you're for or against a petition, you're allowed to speak, and that is the only time you're allowed to speak. We will time, if it gets out of hand, to 3 minutes per comment. So with that, let's start with petition number 1, which is a petition for variance of developmental standards for George and Susan Lowry for construction of a home with a side setback of 6 feet and 7 feet 11 inches instead of the minimum requirement of 10 feet. This property is located at 5692 East, 800 North, Rolling Prairie, Galena Township, zoned R1B on .179 acres.
Notice is adequate.
If you would, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jimmy Pressel, speaking on behalf of Pressel Enterprise. We're the builder on the project. Our business address is 309 Pulaski Street in LaPorte. So our partition tonight, and I brought some drawings for you. I don't know what they gave you, if you guys want them all or not. Or I brought a site plan showing what the setbacks are. So essentially, we're gonna take down the original cottage. It's been in the family for years now. We're gonna kind of flip the way that it's sitting. So we're gonna go closer to the opposite side and leave a bigger space next to the existing cottage this time. There's a set of stairs that runs down that side that we're gonna have to rebuild to incorporate into the new structure. So ideally, we'd like to give ourselves a little bit more room on that side, get the stairs in there, get some planar divide in between the stairs and the house. Also brought an elevation shot of the house if you want to take a look at kind of what I'm talking about.
I think that one we have in our packet. What do you, just show up your site plan for me, just quickly. I don't see the setbacks and contours or anything. Thank you very much.
I'll take one if we get one. Thank you.
If you'll give us a moment. And
Thank you. Do you have one for yourself? I'll share with Vern. So.
yeah, we can share.
What are we looking at first?
We're just looking at the site plan, I think, because see, he's changed it from one side to the
That
other.
explains that you're taking the house down.
Yeah, but see how it was to the left and now it's to the right. I guess.
Okay, so go through that part again where we're taking, which one are we taking down? The existing, this
So
one,
if you look at the site plan, the bigger page there, the one with the diagonal lines on there, the hash marks,
that's on the
that's the
south
existing
side.
cottage there.
Okay, on the
That
south
one.
side of the road.
Yep, correct,
Okay.
on the south side of the road. So that small one's coming out. The bigger rectangle that's going in there is the new size of the structure.
Okay, and it also is going on the south side.
Correct, yep.
I see they're joined, but they're not, you're not putting anything north of the road?
The new septic field will be on the north side of the road.
Okay.
We're going to pump up from the house into the field across the street.
Okay, great, thank you.
You have to bore under the road for that?
It'll either be a bore or an open cut. I don't know yet. We're waiting, so there is a gas line that runs up there. I'm waiting for a better location on it. I'd rather bore it, but if not, we will have to open cut it.
You mean the regional sewer district?
Yeah. Didn't they just take sewer out to Saugony Lake?
It is not out there.
they've been talking about it, but
I know it's in Rolling Prairie.
yeah.
Yeah, they sent notice about 2 weeks ago for it out there,
Okay.
but nothing's been done. They were at that point just sending out notice for that they were going to take easements for it.
So you're planning on using the vacant lot on the north side of the road for the septic field?
Correct, yes. The existing one is down on the south side, real close to water edge, and it actually...
Not a good idea.
No, and it's actually shared by the cottage next to it.
Ooh.
So we're going to abandon our lines off of it. We'll cap those off, and then we'll put the new field on the other side of the road. So you can see there's quite a bit of elevation change. So we're roughly like 20 feet drop from the roadway down to the lakeside. So we'll be quite a ways back with our new septic system.
Humpy.
Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? Anybody for or against it? Any remonstrators? Okay.
So the building itself is going to be 6 feet. I'm going to guess that is on
6 feet.
okay the westerly side and 7-Eleven on the easterly.
Correct.
And within that 7-Eleven, there's going to be a stairwell.
Correct, yes.
So that. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, there's about a 20-foot elevation change coming off the road down to the water edge there.
Right.
There's a set of steps there now, but it's an old metal iron set. So those will need to come out because we're actually pushing the house up into the hill a little farther, so we'll have to redesign the stairs.
What are the setbacks on the existing structure that's there?
I believe pretty close. I don't have them marked on the site plan. So if you look, that's why we put that original one on there so you can kind of see. I'm sure it's close to that, probably 6 foot on the west side or the east side of it, if not a little bit closer than 6 foot. The west side of it is a little bit bigger than what we're asking for now.
So you're technically using the same footprint that the other house is in.
Pretty close. It is definitely bigger though.
Yeah.
That's why we did the overlay there so you can see it. It's
But
bigger than the
width-wise, though, it's about the same footprint.
pretty close.
Do we have questions? Do you have any additional questions? Are there any questions from the board? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the petition for variance for developmental standards for George and Susan Lowry for the construction of a new home with side setbacks of 6 feet and 7 feet 11 instead of a minimum requirement of 10.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Good luck. All right, petition number 2 this evening. It's a petition for variance of developmental standards for John and Teresa Eddy for construction of a pole barn with a 5-foot setback instead of the minimum 10 foot and a rear setback of 8 feet instead of the minimum 10 feet for residential use. The property is located at 9326 South State Road 39, Union Mills, Noble Township, zoned ag on .433 acres.
No, it's adequate.
Petition number 2, are you here with us? Petition number 2. All right, let's move petition number 2 down to the bottom. See if they show up. Let's go to petition number 3. For a variance of developmental standards for Robert Stephen III to construct a pole barn addition to the side of a home with a side setback of 0 feet instead of the minimum requirement of 10. Property is located at 2086 South, 900 West, LaPorte, New Durham Township, zoned ag on 2.62 acres.
No, it's adequate.
Petition number 3, are you here? All right, come on up.
We have a winner.
Come on down. All right, if you would please state your name and address for the record.
Robert Williams Stephen III, 2086 South 900 West, LaPorte, Indiana 46350.
Robert, are you sure you need to go right up to the property line?
Well, I think there was like a question down where my property line was.
It's true.
And,
Beacon is not a stake survey, so you
Well,
would need
there's
to get it
there's a
surveyed.
stake at the end of the street, but I have no papers for it. But I
Okay.
just want to add it onto my garage so I could utilize my driveway for it. Because my garage is already there.
It's not ideal, is it?
No.
Definitely not. Do you drive truck?
No.
Looks like is that a trailer in the driveway?
Yeah, it's a race car trailer.
Oh, okay.
I got
Outstanding.
3 drag cars and a classic.
Okay.
Do you want to see any of those?
Do we have any remonstrators tonight? Anybody for or against petition number 3?
It's really these stakes here.
Madam President, I've received correspondence, 2 letters of correspondence stating that they have no objections to the variance petition.
Out of curiosity, Mike, do you know where they're located in relationship to the remonstrator?
Address 2086 South 900 West.
No.
Right there.
Oh, 2050 South 900 West.
So, south.
And the other one is 9044 West 200 South.
Okay. Thank you.
Are those the directly adjacent properties? I can't tell from the addresses, obviously.
Just
We're going to take a look.
I'm gonna pull up Beacon on here.
Okay, please, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
you know, that.
So he wants to add to the existing garage, is that the plan?
No, he wants to use the existing driveway. That's why he wants to put it right here.
Yeah, but I mean, is he putting it right? The existing garage, that's what
Didn't you say?
the drawing seems to show.
Okay, so that's 2 away.
Maybe, which is already on.
2056.
That's where the one with 0. Sorry.
The 2 letters abut on the north side.
On the north. Okay.
So this pole barn, if you don't mind my asking, is that going to be attached to the existing structure?
Yes. That's going to be the same width, too.
Just lengthening the existing structure.
Yes.
We'll talk about the size of it. Yeah, I can't.
How big is the result going to be
It's going to be 24 by 60.
for the entire garage?
That would be 24 by 90.
With the 24 by 60 being the addition?
Correct.
If there are no remonstrators, are there further questions from the board? If not, I entertain a motion.
I do have one question. We talked about this. Has a stake survey been, have these boundaries been established?
No. I don't have a survey.
And I know apparently your neighbor's not opposed to this, but, obviously the question comes if that happens to wind up on his property and he decides to sell, I can see nothing but a problem in the future, especially with no setback.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I just think it's a bad idea. I mean, it's just, without a survey, first off, there's no way, but, I mean, the roof runoff, any maintenance needs to be done on the building, you're trespassing to fix it. I mean, our codes are in place, and your lot's large. I mean, you have other spaces to put it. I don't want to do that to a neighbor. That's just not.
Robert, would you be willing to have us table your petition and you get a stake survey completed?
Yeah, I guess so.
And make sure that we do, how would that be, guys?
Yeah, I know
What
that
if
our
I get,
ordinance
what if I get a survey and it's close to the property line like that? You guys are gonna have the same result? If I pay $2,000 to get a survey and you're like, oh, it's too close.
So that's why we're
That's
discussing
what-
where that's gonna go.
I mean, it doesn't.
Is this survey
it doesn't-
gonna change?
I mean, 0 is 0. To me, it's not a good idea. I
Because
mean,
I think it's considered 0 because of the easement. There's still an easement in there.
no.
No, there's
you're
no
asking
easement.
to put the building on the property line is what you're asking, and that's like I said. That's not. I mean, you can't. You have to build it. You have to trespass, and to fix it, you have to trespass, and any runoff off the roof is going to go on the neighbor, not on you. You're not going to control your own water. That's why we have a 10-foot side setback. And I mean, in all actuality, your neighbor is more of a farmer, and I mean, side setbacks in ag are 30 feet. So I mean, 10 feet's already a gift.
This is ag. So
There's only 2 neighbors that would affect sign a paper saying
those 2 neighbors aren't always going to be the neighbors that live there. Is Burton's point? Is that it's not going to be an issue today? It might be an issue in 10 years, 20 years. It's an issue that
It's just
we're allowing to continue.
again, and part of the reason why there are, we're here is because sometimes there's no other place. There's other ones that there's no other place that it's going to fall. But I mean, you have a huge lot. I mean, you can build this building. There's no hardship. There are other places for you to put the building.
I mean, that's true, but I got to put a driveway. That's an extra 10 grand. It's being cost efficient, and I wanted to put it there so I could block the wind coming on the north side of my house. I wanted to put it there for easy access from the house because our garage is in the back now. We don't even use it because we don't walk back there when it's snowing.
Yeah, I understand. But you're also locking yourself in. I mean, that doesn't matter. I'm ready to make a motion.
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
I want to make a motion that the petition for variance of the developmental standards for Robert Stephen III be denied.
Okay, I have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of denying the petition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Aye. Unfortunately, your motion did not pass. All right, petition number 4 this evening. It's a petition for variance of developmental standards for Scott and Rhonda Poe and Gary and Karen Poe for construction of a pole barn with water and to be built before the primary home is. This is a lot of record. The property is located at 3560 West Johnson Road, LaPorte, Center Township, zoned R1B on 11 acres.
No, it's adequate.
Jimmy again?
Me again, you get me twice in one night, no
All
matter.
right.
No wonder you didn't like
I wish you'd have said something sooner. I'd have put it
Oh,
together.
all good.
Okay.
They're doing my name and address and all that stuff again.
Yes, please.
All right, name is Jimmy Pressel, speaking on behalf of Pressel Enterprise. Our address is 309 Pulaski, LaPorte, Indiana. So we're looking for a variance to build the whole building before we build the house. So I brought you more goodie handouts that might help kind of explain what we're looking
God, I love you.
We have a small drawing here like this. Yeah, I think you skipped one. Shows where the location of the house will
What?
be, and this is where you're talking about the whole building.
Oh, I'm like, what?
That's the wrong one. I just gave it back to you.
Talking about the whole building.
That's the one right after.
I understand.
Time, we don't have to have all this running around.
I would like one at least. We'll put it with the record and then. Thank you. Thank you.
This is the one.
Yeah, it's really a weird shape.
So do you guys like a digital set of plans?
No, I think I'm good with this one right
Okay,
here.
very good.
One place it says there's not.
No, I don't think so.
Is this the one that? I think. Do you guys want one? You do.
Sure.
The ladies are good.
I met the
You?
road frontage looks like it's about 187 feet here.
Oh, yes. Do you want to share one?
Sure.
Right, it's
You can
11
share.
acres.
Thank you.
Fire out of me.
Okay, this one. Wow, that's a big house.
Right.
Holy crap.
No wonder they want the pole barn first. We didn't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah.
They got to have a place to keep all their equipment.
That's a huge house.
I can't even imagine.
So it looks like you have 200 feet of road frontage exactly.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just
I'm pretty sure it's right at 200.
right out.
I think it's about 190.
But it's a lot of records, so.
Yes, I looked it up and it was sufficient at that time when it was created.
Okay. How big is this pole barn going to be?
44 by 60.
Do I want to ask it?
We're well away from all the side set. I think we're almost 170 feet off of the closest property line there.
Okay, and so it's going to be for storage purposes only,
Correct, yep.
and nobody's going to live in it.
Nope, so that's why I wanted to bring the house plan so you can see that we're not planning a house with a
Okay.
barn and house together deal.
How long do you think it'll take for construction once you start?
The barn or the house?
Yes. The barn first, and then we'll do.
Quick. The barn's probably about a month to 2 month process to get it built, get the floor poured, that kind of stuff. The house is going to take us a little over a year to build.
So I was going to say that puts you heading into winter time.
Yeah, so ideally we're looking to start the house kind of early November.
Okay.
That's kind of what we're shooting for right now, late October, early November, somewhere in that ballpark. Just kind of depends when subcontractors can line up to get going on it.
Okay.
But
And
yeah,
you
it's
think
going to
2
be a
years?
little over a year build.
Oh, a year.
For the house itself, yes.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? Easy for me to say. Anybody for or against this petition? You are? Oh. Do you want to come up and speak on your...
Jimmy's doing great.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Come on and get on record then. No? All right. I tried. What kind of questions do we have from the board? There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the petition for variance for developmental standards from Scott and Rhonda Poe and Gary and Karen Poe for construction of pole barn with water to be built before the primary home on the lot of record. Not to be used for a residence.
My second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Well done. All right. Petition number 5. It's a petition for variance of developmental standards for Vernon Blaney for placement of 2 shipping containers for personal storage. The property is located at 6752 West Forester Road, LaPorte, Cool Spring Township, zoned ag on 3 acres. Petition number 5, are you here?
No, it's adequate.
Is it me?
Push it to the bottom.
There's no one here. Okay, well, we're going to move number 5 down as well.
Okay.
Put him after number 2.
Yeah. Let's move on. I might be home in time for dinner if this keeps up. I don't know. Petition number 6 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for William and Jeanette Woodkey for construction of a second dwelling to help care for elderly parents. The property is located at 9122 West State Road 2, LaPorte, New Durham Township, zoned ag on 1 acre.
No, it's
Right. Very good, thank you. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Jeanette Woodkey, 9122 West State Road 2, Report.
All right, Jeanette, if you give me just a moment here, I want to make sure I have a chance to look at your... So where actually on the property are you planning on putting the second dwelling?
I have a garage that's falling down, so I'm putting it,
Oh, right there.
I'm replacing the
Oh,
garage
here.
with a new building.
Okay. Is it going to be larger than the garage?
Well, it's the garage and 3 additions to the garage, which is about 60 by 30.
Okay.
And that's, the new building is going to be 60 by 30.
Okay.
You get rid
So
of
are they your parents?
Pardon?
Are they your parents
We should get rid
that are going to stay there?
of variances.
No, it's, my kids will stay there to take care of me and my husband.
Okay.
Thank you for the compliment.
I'm saying that that's going away.
That's, I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Okay. Got some lucky kids then.
Yeah, because this is going to be
All right. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for petition number 6?
What's that?
Anybody in favor or against petition number 6?
The tear down, sorry?
Down here.
Oh, I think they're like
Would you like to come to the mic?
They're the kids.
the blacktop.
Yeah. Tina DeWitt, 108 Elizabeth Street, Kingsbury. I'm her daughter. My husband, Bob, and I would be the ones to be in there to take care of them.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Anybody else in favor or against this one? Any questions from the board?
I guess the only we're talking about tearing down 2 or 3 of the structures, and are we going to remove this like mobile home that's in there, or
There's no mobile home in our house, at our house.
oh,
I can jump into that. When I was out there, I talked to her about that. That predates the mobile home ordinance. It is stored with classic car parts, and they lost the key to it.
That's not a mobile home though, that's a trailer.
Yeah, it's a trailer.
It's a car,
with storage of car parts.
okay,
it was used to haul circus wagons
okay,
and cars.
okay.
Tina, are you sure 60 by
You know,
30 is big
I
enough?
think still looks neat. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going to tear down some stuff.
Most of it will be garage area
Your-
and then
Keep your values up.
living space. It's not huge, of course, but
Okay.
it'll be fine.
I've got a beacon map here. Could you approach and show me where you think that, or where the structure is going to be constructed?
This is probably the best picture.
This must be
Turn your mic around.
So this would all be removed.
Okay, so you're taking that out.
Yeah. Well, my pen doesn't work. Yeah, so that would be removed, and then the new structure in that place.
In that place, so
Yes.
you're going to put it. It's not going to go over here somewhere.
No.
It's going to be right in this area here.
Yes,
Okay, and that's for you guys, not for your elderly parents.
correct.
I noticed it was 2 stories. That's why I'm asking.
Correct. And most of it, 40 foot of it, is going to be garage space.
Okay.
I didn't get to circle it. My pen didn't work.
All right.
Oh, this pen works better than yours.
Okay, sorry.
I think we, if you guys want to look where we drew this in, you can take a look.
If you ladies would like to return to the podium, I think we're going to make a vote.
I think we're good.
Yep.
Right. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. First, we applaud anybody that helps, like this, rather than moving a trailer in and causing trouble down the road. So we applaud that. And with that, I would like to make a motion that the petition for William and Jeanette Woodkey be granted for construction of a second dwelling. And I have marked where the buildings are to be removed and the new building to be built.
Do you want those included in the findings?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Before we second, I'd like to have a point of clarification. In the past, we've talked about what happens in the future. Is this going to be able to be a rental property at some point down the
Good
road?
point. That
You can restrict it.
That's the only question is, there's 2
You
residences on
have
the
your
property.
motion, so do you want to restrict it?
Probably not necessary, but I'm just questioning it.
I'm not going to add that to it.
For background, we've done it on barns with living space mostly,
Right.
but
Not usually a second.
there's no hard rule.
That was okay. Then we'll leave it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll leave the motion as I
And do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. And if you want to talk to my kids later. All right. Petition number 7 is a petition for special exception for Kankakee Valley REMC for installation of an electric substation. Property is located across from 3727 West, 1200 South Hannah Township, zoned ag on 3 acres.
Notice is adequate. I want to remind the board a special exception means that it's already allowed in the area, but because of the nature of what they're asking for, when we wrote this, we wanted it to be run by the BZA just in case there's something strange or out of the ordinary.
Got it. So if you would approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. My name is Bree Travis. The address is 8642 West US Highway 30 in Wanata.
Okay, and tell us about the need for this additional substation.
Sure. We work with an outside engineering firm to do a system analysis of our entire system and let us know where we need to expand our electric grid to support both our existing members, customers, and any future potential growth. Hannah was identified as an area that needs an additional substation, both to support the existing load and any growth in the future. We also identified the specific location that we picked due to its proximity to South Central School Corporation because they are adversely affected by outages, especially during the school day. And this gets the new substation a little bit closer to them to help prevent some of that.
Do you guys provide internet services off your substations or no?
We do not. We have fiber lines that connect our substations, and we do rent those fiber lines out to internet providers. So there's a potential, but not through us.
All right. Do we have any remonstrators for this petition? I hate to think we have someone who's not in favor of a substation in my neighborhood.
They're Amish.
Any remonstrators for this petition, either for or against? All right, what kind of questions do we have?
The entire triangle. I noticed on the drawing here that they're using part of this area for the substation, but RMC is going to purchase the entire lot, the 3 whatever acres it is.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, when we spoke to the farmer that owns the property, because of the odd shape of the parcel, it's kind of useless ground for him, and so it was better for us to just purchase the entire parcel.
Makes sense.
Solar panels.
No solar panels.
It's not my night. All right, there are no remonstrators. If there's no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for special, or for Kankakee Valley REMC for installation of an electric substation.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Petition number 8 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Lawrence Kinzer for placement of 2 shipping containers for personal storage located at north of 292 North, 700 West, LaPorte, Cool Spring Township, zoned ag with 1.148 acres.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, I'm Lawrence Kinzer at 674 Harvest Road in Valparaiso, Indiana.
All wetland.
So do you farm this property?
No, I've got a little bit of a presentation here I'd like to present, and I've got some documents that I'll refer to as I go along. And
I'll allow
I've got
it.
a copy for you guys. That explains the situation better. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice looking shipping containers.
Hello, everyone. My official name is Lawrence Kinzer, but I mostly go by Larry. I'm a 71-year-old retired Air Force veteran. During my over 14 active duty years, I was reassigned a number of different places, base locations around the country, in addition to a 3-year overseas tour in 1985 to Clark Air Base in the Philippines. After my active duty commitments were finally met, my wife and I, with our 2 adopted children, were finally able to settle, hopefully for good, in the Valparaiso area in the early 90s. But as many of us have experienced, as time passes, some totally unexpected things can happen in our lives. After about 10 years in our new large family home, I went through a divorce with my wife of 30 years. 10 years later, we unexpectedly lost our 27-year-old Filipino daughter, leaving my 7-year-old grandson without his mother. A few years before my daughter died, in 2007, I bought a piece of property in Cool Springs Township, next to Highway 80, in County Road 700 West, from a person who had plans to build a small cabin that would look over the pond area, which covered a portion of the lot. For some reason, he never moved forward with his plan and offered the lot for sale. After showing me a copy of his soil survey and house location plan, I felt the lot would surely work for a future smaller garage location, so I purchased it with that early idea in mind. That's what this first little handout is about, his survey he gave me. Until recently, whenever I think of that pond, I would flash back to remember how excited my daughter was when she said she wanted to grow koi in it. Fish. I didn't know what the heck that was. While I was still hectically working in the civilian world out of Chicago, and again as more time passed, going through the soon-to-follow uncertain issues of the Great Recession, then my daughter's death, and later my father's passing in 2015, I kind of abandoned any lot use ideas until just a few years ago. Then, well into my 60s and still single and alone in our large family home, it was probably way past time to downsize. I inherited my father's really small lake house in my Michigan hometown, near where I'll be trying to squeeze into to be a little closer, to be closer with my 92-year-old mother, whose failing health currently needs a 24-hour skilled nursing care. A small lake house alone, needing a complete rehab, would never comfortably work well. So that's when I thought my vacant lot could finally serve a purpose as storage of some excess things, maybe only important to me during at least my downsizing transition phase. The use of the lot would also give me a small footing in the area with possible get-together uses during my occasional visits to my son and grandson still in the area. After finding out I had limited space to be able to build my first choice of a more permanent garage or pole barn plan, due to unexpected wetland separation issues, I somewhere got the idea of a more temporary but fairly secure storage option that I thought could be a workable solution with a couple of much smaller sized metal storage enclosures. So I purchased 2 of the nicest I could find, the much more expensive new one-trip style containers that are extremely solid and clean with totally secure lockable large entry doors. I also made them somewhat mobile with the ability to easily bolt on a couple trailer axles and wheels to turn them into kind of a hybrid type enclosed trailer system. And that's what this other picture was about. My engineering degree and overall mechanical awareness may get me in more trouble than help, but if I know my parameters to solve a pressing issue, I can usually come up with a possible solution. In this case, I thought I needed something secure, but not be a permanent land-attached building established by some structurally needed dugout footing or foundation support system. So that's what I came up with. No plans for any permanent utility connections for water or power will be needed, so any future movement would still be easily feasible. For my purposes, I just need to occasionally check for level sitting and adjust with a few shims if necessary. They are not roadworthy by any means, but able to be moved around somewhat in the nearby area generally located for use. Not being a permanently fixed structure with no real need to be built on site, their flexibility, I also thought, would allow me to be able to place them in more of the available open areas of my lot. So that's kind of where I'm at now, looking for your help. As the planning office says, I need your approval to use them for storage. And at this point, I was hoping, and I'm really in need to be able to use them as soon as possible, as I am in the process of totally clearing out my home I recently put up for sale earlier this year. I was also kind of wondering if your approval would be a requirement whenever anybody locates an enclosed trailer that could also be used for storage somewhere on their property. I thought of doing that, but found that option more expensive and not nearly as secure as my hybrid wheel containers. But probably a more representative situation of my trailer axle capable containers than a permit filing process requiring to build structures for more permanent footing attached buildings. Now, in addition to my basic storage need justification, I will try to address the building commissioner's concerns about my possible infringement of resting my hybrid enclosures inside of a 50-foot wetland boundary protection restriction imposed on my pond area. When trying to physically make that determination, I first needed to clear many feet of dense brush overgrowth and high grassy areas to gain access to the edge of the pond. Once that was done, I placed a stake out a few feet from the edge of the pond at 2 locations and placed a second stake 50 feet from the first ones, and found I was well outside the 50-foot separation distance. So if that is still...
I'm going to stop you right here. Have you had a wetland delineation completed on your property? Are you licensed to make a wetland delineation?
No.
Okay. What is the size of these 2 storage containers in relationship to the storage facility that we turned down in 2021?
These are 10 by 20.
Okay.
2 of them, and the other, I think it was a barn, pole barn thing was like 36 by 24.
Okay. So I think some of the concerns we raised were not just the structure itself, but the size of the actual building area of your lot. Without a wetland delineation, you don't know where that 50-foot setback is. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a...
I mean, it would be like...
What I was asking for back then was relief from the setback areas.
Right. So one of the concerns, though, as I recall, was how much actual usable space you really do have, which we don't know, because we don't know where your wetland delineation is with the 50-foot and what is left over.
Madam President, can I jump in here?
Yes, please.
So I went to the site for the second time. I inspected what this gentleman has out there. I no longer have the wetland concern, having walked the wetland, the edge of the wetlands.
You feel it's protected?
I feel good about it.
Okay.
Another concern that I had previously with the previous proposal that was denied was the location of the driveway and
Right.
the hidden nature of it. And there's now a sign right there that says Hidden Drive. So
The house number,
what's that?
including the house number
There's not.
or potential.
There's not an address or anything, but there is a sign there,
Okay.
like a road sign that says Hidden Drive. So my 2 main concerns have been alleviated, and I'm satisfied with that.
Very good.
I as far as what he's trying to use it for now, it seems like a better way to go than what was previously proposed.
Okay. So is there still going to be an inspection for storage containers installation?
Well, if he
I think it's as easy as just me coming out with a loader and dropping it down.
yeah, so he's talking about keeping them mobile. So if that's the case and they're not going to be anchored, then we would not then inspect for that. But if he's going to, he had mentioned that keeping them level.
It's going this way.
And would they not then sink in such a soft area?
I'm not sure you have authority or jurisdiction to
I
waive
don't.
building requirements.
Okay, I'm just asking the question of Mike.
Here, I mean,
Okay.
I've been here 20 years. I'll flip out if you approve something on wheels. It's not safe. It's not complying with any of the building requirements or codes associated with containers.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Well, I'm going to form them up and take the wheels off.
Oh, you're not. See, we have a code, and if you put a storage container in, it has to be built on piers or on a foundation
Foundation.
and attached to that foundation. That's what Doug's saying. We can't vary that. We can't say, well, but yours we'll leave on wheels. We can't do that.
They're saying you'd have to properly anchor them, and then we would have to inspect and approve it. Inspect and approve it.
Is that something I could work on, or?
I think it would be.
You know, the whole thing kind of, we haven't even talked about. I mean, we don't put. I mean, we didn't even ask for a variance for a building and before a home. I mean, we don't just put room. We don't put storage facilities in the middle of the county. We just don't do that. I mean, that's not. I mean, that's something you'd have to ask for in the petition, basically. I mean, it's a building lot. It's not a storage facility.
From what I heard, from what you were telling me, it looks like it's maybe to store some things that you currently don't have room for.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you're planning on storing things well, let's go out to the pond and pitch a tent for the weekend, and we'll get the grill out of the storage container, and we've got everything all there already. Is that what I'm hearing? Something like that, or?
Well, I've got car things and stuff that I hope I could put securely away for a while until I find a larger.
And I feel like security was one of your issues before.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly one reason why, if you have a home, then you can have a garage or something because you're living there and you're taking care of stuff. But I mean, for you to put a storage facility where somebody else might has a home next to it,
Well, they don't.
It's just not.
Pretty lousy. This was my measurements in that picture here that I was talking about that shows over 50 foot of space from where I could find the pond. No, I'm not a licensed whatever you are to do all that, but
Right.
that's the best I could do. I had to clear a lot of brush and.
All right, thank you. Are there any remonstrators for this petition?
Can I finish the rest of my?
No.
Okay. Well,
Are there any remonstrators for this petition, either for or against? Mm-hmm. Seeing none, are there further questions from the board? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't see any way around it. We just can't.
Well, I'm kind of wondering about definition of a wetlands because it's really.
Sir,
That's
point of order.
Okay.
That's not
You're
the
taking a
issue.
vote.
The issue in front of us is the petition for a variance of developmental standards for placement of 2 shipping containers for personal storage, and we have to deny it. I make a motion that we deny it.
I have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of denying petition number 8 signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Your petition failed.
Can I ask the board for a time frame for me to enforce the ruling of the board for removal of those?
I mean, I'm in no hurry personally for them to be gone. He's, gone to the effort. Hopefully he can recover some of his money. I'd say a year is fine.
Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah. You need to vote on it? As long as we don't have to do that. All right, petition number 9 for variance, for a variance of developmental standards for Jonathan Piero for the construction of a home with road frontage, using the existing lot and a subdivision with road frontage as the driveway. Also to live in an RV until this home is built. The property is located behind 3271 East and 3283 East, 300 South, LaPorte, Pleasant Township, zoned R1A.
No second.
Number 9, are you here with us? If you'd approach the podium, please. Thank you. If you will state your name and address for the record.
Jonathan Piero, 121 Big D Lane, Maryville, Tennessee.
What's bringing you back to LaPorte, Jonathan?
Family.
You don't look that excited. Come on. Look at you. They're going to move into a tiny home for their parents.
Tiny, tiny homes aren't legal, I thought. Can't build one.
All right. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a little confused with your using the existing lot in a subdivision and the lot that you already own.
Yes, it is.
So these two, where's the second one?
That lot has had a driveway for the past 60 years. It's been a driveway.
Oh, you have a big giant one behind it.
Yeah, there's that lane goes back to.
Do you own both of them?
I do.
Okay. Is there a reason? I'm just going to state this. Maybe you want to combine those into one parcel?
I tried to. I think they are aren't they?
Oh, maybe.
I believe
Actually, according to
Looks like
Beacon, they are.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
what
you
I
did
believe
update
they did.
it. One of the earlier maps
it is
shows
the
it
same.
separate,
Yeah.
and this one looks
Yeah,
like they are
exactly
together.
the same.
Very
They are
good.
together.
If I can chime in.
So-
So that the lot that he acquired, that he combined, was originally part of the subdivision. That was supposed to be a subdivided improved lot.
That's the way it looked to me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the old plat, so.
But now it's combined with to the larger acreage. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. So the lot was okay. That lot width was fine when it was a subdivision, but now since it's combined, he needs a variance.
Because he needs supposedly 200 feet of frontage, right?
Yeah, he's technically not in a subdivision anymore.
Right. But then in the back, he's got proposal for a house and a barn.
Correct.
Now that we all just had that aha moment, stand by.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's a nice piece of property.
Okay.
So you're not really intending to build in the area where they originally had it plotted for
In the front area.
front, yeah.
Well, no, that was actually just a drive, and that was actually a lower area up for a water retention area before I purchased it. That's what it was divided for in the subdivision.
Okay.
So I was going to build up on the higher ground up in the back.
Okay, so you're going to build a home and a garage.
A barn, a pole barn.
Okay.
The home will actually be a pole barn structure as well.
Clear.
Okay. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? Anybody for the petition or against it? Okay, no petitioners. So if there's no questions from the board, then I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I mean, there certainly is a question. I mean, to live in an RV until the home is built?
It's a motor home.
Yeah, well,
How long do you think it's going to take to build?
what are you doing with the sewage in the motorhome?
I'll go dump it. I'm not gonna. I'm in the process right now of getting a septic, my own septic and water well. I went straight from there, from the building department to the health department to get my paperwork, and I already have a soil sample coming Thursday morning for the septic, and I have people lined up to put the septic, and Oliver Well Drilling is going to do the well in the next 2 weeks. That was my plans if I get the permits.
Yeah,
I've
but we
already-
don't normally allow RVs to be lived in unless they're in an RV park.
Well, they can be there for 3 days at a time.
I can't allow.
What else can we do for living arrangements while you're building?
Move away. Really?
He's gonna move
I
away.
mean, I have no other option at this moment.
There's RV parks all over.
What if he's got all this money tied up in buildings?
I do. And purchasing the motorhome.
I gotta say, we've done multiple
I-
actions against persons living in an RV.
Yeah, I know.
I know like 4 or 5 of them in my area now living in motorhomes and campers while their house is being built. I mean, out in Kingsbury there's a couple. I mean, it's...
Well, if they're doing that, they're doing it illegally.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear any of that. But
I mean,
Because I tend to lean toward granting the petition, but not living there until you get your house built. That's you know, as far as granting the variance to build a home in this area, that's one thing, but to live there prior to the construction of the home, that changes the complexion of things.
Could you build the pole barn first and store things and yourself in there
I mean,
while
I
you're building
could.
the home? What about that? We've done that before.
I can do that.
Does that mean park the RV inside the pole barn and live in? I mean,
I'm gonna store it in there regardless when it's done.
but we have to have a place. You got, and we're not.
I live in Tennessee. That's my address. That's where I live.
We got to have some place for your.
That's where I'm gonna lay my head. Is 121 Big D Lane in Maryville, Tennessee. While they build my house. Done.
So I want to make sure, Claire. So you're saying now you're just asking for the variance for the construction?
I mean, if that's all I can do, I mean, there's no other way around it. I own 9 acres. What can I do? What else can I do now? I mean,
Okay. All right, so the board should consider as a petition amended.
it's not like an RV. It's not
removal
actually
of
like
the
I got
requesting
to move it
RV.
out. I can actually drive it somewhere and dump it and move. I can move from Walmart to Walmart if I have to. I mean,
Well, but I want to be clear on what you're doing, so they know what you're asking for. Okay.
I mean-
Are you no longer asking to stay in the
I mean, I
RV?
was trying to. If they're not going to allow it, then, like I said, it's legal for me to go from Walmart parking lot to Walmart parking lot for a few days at a time.
A question for the attorney. If we allow a variance for construction of, a home here, how long do we have before the process starts? If it doesn't start, then they're in violation of the variance. Is that correct?
Well, no, if you give them a variance to live in an RV while it's being constructed, there's no violation, so it wouldn't come to me for action.
No, but the variance he's asking for basically is because of the narrow area. He wants the variance to be able to build a house back here. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
That's not a problem.
Right.
But do we have to put a timeline on the construction phase?
1 year to
Because I-
start construction.
1 year. Okay. So we have to see some activity getting started, otherwise you're in violation of the variance.
I've started clearing land the day I bought it, so that I can start building.
But it's not up to us to approve, living in a remote area in an RV. I don't think that should be involved in this whole process. Am I thinking wrong here?
No, you're not. So if you want to make a motion eliminating to live in an RV, that would be great.
Do you guys want to chime in at all?
It's hard to say. Are you thinking we could do it because it's not part of the subdivision?
Which part you think we can do because it's not part of a subdivision?
The RV part?
No, we're just making a variance.
We have never.
The home because it's not.
We can grant the variance to build a home if we make that position, but
Right.
but
We have never-
exclude the living there until it's done.
So the concern is we've never, as a board, as far as I've been on here, allowed someone to live in an RV for any period of time. In fact, we have taken action against several
I
that
remember, yeah.
refused to leave, move their RV out. So I think
Right.
that's where we could be setting a precedent if we say yes, that it's hard to defend. And
It's maybe 6 months' time. Maybe. The building goes up quick.
Now,
so
another
I-
question before I even put this in a form of a motion. We talked about building the building first. I'm afraid this is going to get abused a little bit if we allow construction of a pole barn. Then that delays the construction of the residence.
The residence is getting started first. That's what I plan. You know, I already cleared the land mostly for the residents right now. So, like, I'm hoping to have a house built within 6 months. I'm doing the work myself. You know, me and a couple friends. So, we work pretty quick. I'm a union carpenter. I'm off work for the next 6 months, 7 months to get this done.
Okay, I'm waiting for a motion.
I'll make a motion that the petition for variance of developmental standards for Jonathan Pirro for construction of a home with road frontage be granted. Also in that motion, I am asking to deny the part of the variance to live in an RV, or deny the ability to live in the RV on the property. That's my motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Aye. Congratulations on the house. Unfortunately, you can't stay in the RV while you're building it. All right, so we are going to revisit petition number 2 this evening. Is that you? You came in late. Okay, I apologize. Petition number 2 is a variance of developmental standards for John and Teresa Eddy for construction of a pole barn with a 5-foot setback instead of a minimum 10 feet and a rear setback of 8 feet instead of the minimum 10 feet for residential use. Property is located at 9326 South State Road 39, Union Mills, Noble Township, zoned ag on .433 acres.
No, this is adequate.
Thank you. If you would, please state your name and address for the record.
Jerry Eddy, 9326 South, State Road 39, Union Mills, Indiana.
No, what's right on that?
Construction is started.
Oh,
It must be.
I don't know. I can't even find my petition. Oh, there it is. The wrong one away. Have you already started construction?
Yes, I apologize for not getting everything ahead of time, you know, with the building permit and all, and I apologize to everybody here that I've taken up your time, you know, to sort this out, and also my neighbors. I apologize to them.
This is, I don't know what that's at and how it lies. That's even outside of that?
Yeah.
Jerry, would you approach us
I
and
think it's already being.
kind of mark on here where we're not on this one? And you can use my pen.
I think this is the build. Is the building already be?
The
Yeah,
house.
it's 90% built already. I've got a 6-inch floor in it. I got
Here's the house.
footers, 2 foot deep in it, you know, for all the
Yeah.
uprights and
Go ahead, just mark it on there for me so we're sure.
I guess.
And then is it a tree house?
yeah,
Can you mark-
that's my grandson's
Is it
little
next
tree
to it,
house.
near it? It looks like it's next to it.
Did you draw that on there too? Yeah, kind of do.
I don't have my glasses on.
How about these? 2.5x.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Fine, that's going to be very helpful.
Wow.
He didn't want to be in purple.
Okay, so there's the side setback. To which is which?
This is the picture.
It goes like this. Okay, here. Oh, yes, that's right here.
Yeah,
So it is right here.
Grandson,
Exactly.
Thank you.
Said.
First part of this year. And
Oh yeah, we gotta have a
It's
treehouse.
right back to the video so we can get everything on record.
Properties that no.
All right, now that we're all
Brick.
square.
Oh, yeah. Here.
So how close
5 foot.
in here? You're 5 feet from the rear?
It's about 8 to 10 foot, you know, to the bank of the creek on the rear.
Okay.
And then the side was 5 foot.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
5. All right, we have it turned around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's sizes.
Is it just for storage of
Yeah.
personal items?
Yeah, it's a little shop that, I'm retired now, so my grandkids and kids can come over and we can mess around, in the shop.
How big is the building, Jerry?
The cement pad was 16 by 40 that I poured for it.
16 by 40. You would have loved the last guy that was on this board. His question was always, is that big enough?
It's never big enough.
Never. That's what he said.
Right.
Yeah, he'd have talked you into bigger.
Yeah, that was a nice size he had.
I know. Well, minus that setback issue. Do we have any remonstrators tonight for this petition? If you'd have a seat, we'll hear from them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's their house right there.
Hi, if you'd state your name and address.
Donna Wills, 9298 South, State Road 39.
Are you directly north?
9298.
All right, Donna.
This one.
What are your concerns?
We're just concerned about, first of all, we had stated to Jerry that he had to be 10 feet away from our property line. I had called and found that out and stated to him that it had to be 10 feet. Concern is, what was he going to do with it? Residential, dog, animals, anything like that. I don't know that I don't know how you guys documented 5 feet away from our property, because we have taken and measured. It seems to be less than that. I guess some of the things you guys have said earlier, runoff from his building structure. They are building it themselves. Is it stable? Is it adequate? And if we were to sell our home, at some point we probably will. We have 2 boys, and one has moved out. We're waiting for the other. What would the next buyers feel about such a large?
Have you had a stake survey done on your property?
No.
So that you know
if
it.
we had to.
Well, how do you know exactly where your property line is to measure for his?
I asked when I called, and she said they had already done it. Because I said, do I need to get a survey done? She said, no, they've already done that. There should be 2 stakes out there. I called the building commissioner's office.
I think she spoke with Kelly from Surveyors. Used to work with Surveyors.
Right. Do we?
I think there should be property pins out there, but you'd have to find them.
So that's not necessarily accurate,
Getting a survey done.
right? Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other remonstrators? All right. Come back up, Jerry. You're building this yourself to store stuff in, right?
That's it.
No animals?
No.
Are you going to build it so it falls down?
Of course not.
Okay. And we're going to come out and inspect it.
More than welcome.
So there's no issue with that. What other questions from the board?
Before I even knew that the building had been, started, my questions were about the property. Are you considering the setback from the center of the ditch?
No. The bankment from where it drops down.
The top of the bank?
Yes.
Now, you're aware of the fact that if that's a court drain, and the court drain has a 75-foot easement.
Which my house and my other garage,
Which is on the easement.
Everything is on that 75 foot.
And it looks like even from the picture that your neighbors have some buildings on that easement.
Of course.
Now, obviously, that's in violation of the drainage board's codes, which we're not even visiting. But obviously, we've got 2 things going on here. We've got a building that you're talking about putting 5 foot away from your neighbor's property where you don't even know where the line is. And the second thing is that the rear of the building is on a drainage easement. So that's in violation of the drainage code. And these things that, asking forgiveness instead of permission can be costly. So those are my concerns.
And answer back to a couple of those concerns?
I'm thinking. No, let's just let it lie.
Okay,
If you don't mind.
of course.
What other questions?
I don't have any.
I could jump in, Madam President. An approval from this board would still require him to appear before the Drainage Board to handle the other matters separately.
Did you guys let him know that when he applied?
This was induced because of a stop work order placed by one of my inspectors. And then that started all this process with us and with the Drainage Board.
I mean, I have to be honest, going to the Drainage Board, in my opinion, is going to open up a... Going to the Drainage Board, in my opinion, is going to open up a very large can of worms here. It seems to me, I am a cartographer, but it seems to me that there's a fair amount of buildings in that 75-foot easement for the ditch that it's not just affecting this gentleman, but the neighbors to the north that are so concerned about the building being too close that it's going to affect a lot of people. Is that the direction we're going to go with this?
I spoke with members of that board. I tried to get them to handle it before it came here. I lost that argument.
They want us to handle it first.
Yeah. So we get it first, and then it'll go to them. They'll take into consideration things like that easement is on both sides of that legal drain. So can they access from the other side? Is it enough room to get excavators, store spoils, right. Things like that? And also, I'm sure it would be considered that there are adjacent parcels that have structures in the drainage easement as well.
Mm-hmm. And how did those get built?
Well, I want to remind the board, none of those are considerations.
I
want to make sure the record's clear.
And it's all about it's all about establishing precedent, and it apparently has already been established on that in that particular area that people are building on a drainage easement. Now the other one, of course, obviously is the setbacks, and I guess you're totally liable if they need to do something on that ditch, and if it happens in that easement, then they're probably not as they're concerned about their liability as a drainage board on what happens on their easement.
I understand that. Thank you.
Well, that's just a comment. I'm not making any motions right now.
Okay, well, good, because I am going to ask for a motion if there are no other questions.
I will make a motion. I mean, because you do have limited space, I am concerned that you didn't come to us before to ask, to have them say, hey, this is 5 feet from us, this isn't quite right. But he doesn't really have any space. It's kind of a hardship for him to fit anything on this lot. He really was doing the best he can. I guess the only thing I'm concerned is if it's not 5 feet. I mean, what if it's only 2 or 3 feet? That being said, somebody else can deal with that. I'll make a motion that the petition for construction. We're on number 2. We're on this one.
Number 2.
I never went.
Mm-hmm.
The construction. Where's my paper? Thank you. The petition for a variance of the developmental standards for John and Teresa Eddy for construction of
excuse me, it should be Jerry and Teresa Eddy. I've got a brother, John, but
okay, that's good to know.
It should be Jerry and Teresa.
Jerry and Teresa Eddy for construction of a pole barn with 5-foot side setback instead of the minimum 10 and a rear setback of 8 be granted. I would like to put that because of the issue of it being so close to the neighbor, that I would like to have a rain gutter and the water directed towards the drainage ditch rather than the neighbor be added to that building. That's my motion.
I second it. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. For the gentleman in the back, I am going to guess is petition number 5. Petition for variance of developmental standards for Vernon Blaney for placement of 2 shipping containers for personal storage for the property located at 6752 West Forester Road, LaPorte, Cool Spring Township, zoned ag on 3 acres.
Need to take that outside.
And if I can,
Notice is adequate.
hang on. Excuse me, Jerry. I'm going to need you guys to move outside while we finish up the meeting, if you don't mind.
So sorry.
Thank you very much. You said legal work. Legal work is. I don't have Let me see.
Which one?
I don't read it. I'll give it back to you. You look in my pack of papers. Sure I did.
You could state your name and address for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Vernon Blaney, 6752 West Forester Road.
And another packet for Blaney.
We don't have one.
No, I think you gave it back. No,
Oh, it is.
All right, Vernon, let's talk about these storage containers.
Yes, ma'am.
Look again.
They're going way in the back.
Yes, ma'am.
What are we going to put in them?
Just personal stuff. My intention is to.
You're right.
Within 5 years, build a pole barn.
Yeah.
In the interim, I've got a lot of things I like to keep out of the weather.
Okay, thanks. So you're going to build within 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your thoughts on what you're going to build? Like how big? What are we talking?
30 by 40 sounds pretty good to me at this point.
Does it?
Well, I will make it work. Let's put it that way.
Okay. How big are the storage containers currently?
There is a 8 foot by 20 foot and an 8 foot by 40 foot.
So we're going to put them way back in the back by the neighbor's house.
Yes, ma'am.
You've talked to the neighbors? I don't see them here, but
No. So the neighbor behind me has just moved in. They have a do not trespass. The neighbor next door, do not trespass as well. And the other neighbors, they just had moved in, the ones to the north.
okay, but they were notified by mail, certified mail, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Janet
I always worry that when you put stuff like this in the back, and look, I'm guilty too.
Okay.
I put it way in the back because I don't want to look at it. I want you to look at my stuff. That always makes me a little suspicious.
So
If I don't want to look at it, why do you want to look at it?
it is a nice hidden nook that not too many people are going to see.
So, how long have you been at this property?
Since 1994.
So I see a lot of stuff out there. You have a lot of car parts, cars. What do we?
I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. There was
Okay.
So yes, there was a cleanup, and it's pretty decent. Like I said, my intentions are to build a pole barn.
Okay, and it would store some of this stuff that is left over.
Basically, if anything's outside, it goes away.
Okay,
This looks totally different than that.
it does.
I'd say
You already have the storage containers there.
looks totally
Yes,
different.
I didn't realize it was a permit required. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe Doug want to do a workshop.
Well, clearly seeing no remonstrators.
Yeah, that's
Are there anyone for or against?
Do we have a drawing where this thing is going to be set? It seemed like I felt like we did.
I guess that I thought about this earlier when I looked at the pictures. Obviously, the containers that you're looking for are not. You're not talking about adding containers. You're talking about getting a permit or basically a variance for the ones that are already there.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm kind of a firm believer in what she said about the having your junk. You know, it's nice to have it inside.
Yeah.
If it fits.
Probably it right
And of
there.
course, out of sight, out of mind. The containers look more attractive than everything laying around in the weeds.
It's true.
But I'm concerned about your neighbors, but they're not here. So
Any other questions?
Are these containers installed properly as we speak?
That would be the building department would need to inspect that.
So they would have to be inspected now, after they've even been there, to make sure that they're properly installed. Is that correct?
Correct, and there has not been an inspection at this point.
So should we grant this variance, the next step would be to go to your office and get an inspection performed.
Yeah, they would apply for a permit, and then that would generate an inspection.
What do you think?
So why would we okay this one and not other ones?
That's a good question.
Discretion of this board. These are anticipated to be moved within 3 years, if that makes any difference. So they would.
I mean, you understand.
Temporary.
We're not. Again, it's a highly residential area, and we haven't been allowing storage containers in residential. And I don't think it makes any sense to do this.
If it's zoned agricultural, does that make a difference?
Not really, because they're all the neighbors are residential. It's not like you're.
I mean, I don't see field farms.
There's chickens right adjacent to the.
Sir, point of order. It's for discussion now, okay?
Yeah.
I don't see row crop. I don't see
Right.
something that would lend itself to a storage
No.
container.
Right. I mean, the way this works, somebody makes a motion and we vote.
No? I can make a motion. The petition for variance of developmental standards for Vernon Blaney for placement of 2 shipping containers for personal storage be denied.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor of denying petition number 5, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Do we have a timeline for
Yep,
that?
I was just gonna ask.
6 months?
The last, I think, does 6 months sound reasonable to remove them?
Could I get a year like the other gentleman? Or
I was just.
they are heavy, terribly heavy.
I'm aware of how heavy they are. Do you want to give them a year? I'm less inclined to do a year because of the residential nature of this neighborhood, as opposed to his area, which was not residential. I'm going to stick with 6 months.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Attorney Levy, is there any further business before the board?
No, ma'am.
Building Commissioner, is there any further business in front of the board?
No, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.